Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be breaking down the Nhl Dfs slate for Wednesday, November 23rd. We got ourselves a massive 15-game slate here tonight, where I'm going to go through a couple of my favorite line stacks, some of my favorite individual plays, and some of my favorite value plays. With that being said, let's dive into my spreadsheet here. And we're going to kick things off here like we always do in the top left-hand corner with those highest implied game totals, where you can see 8 of these games are coming in with an implied total of 6.5 goals. The other 7 games coming in at 6 goals even. And then take a look directly above me there, I got the Vegas odds, where you can see the teams who have the best odds to win here tonight. And before we dive into a couple of my favorite line stacks here, quick vacation update, still in Minnesota. This will be my last NHL video of the week. Obviously, we do not have any NHL games tomorrow on Thanksgiving, but we do have a big slate on Friday. Unfortunately, though, I will be traveling all day. However, once I get back into Colorado, I will be making those NFL videos this week, breaking down some of my favorite cash game plays and GPP plays for the Week 12 main slate. With that being said, let's dive into a couple of line stacks that I like here for this Wednesday slate. Now, obviously, 15 games here tonight, 30 different teams to choose from. There is a lot to love about the forward position and defenseman position for that matter. There are a number of different line stacks that I did like, but one of my favorites was that first line for the Dallas Stars. We got Hint centering Robertson and Pavelski. These guys have been great once again this year. They were awesome all of last year. A lot of chemistry between these three. They play big minutes together 5-on-5. They all play up on that number 1 power play and have been very good at home this year, combining for 15 goals, 19 assists, 34 points in just 8 games, and they have a great matchup at home here tonight to expand on that versus the Chicago Blackhawks, who've allowed 3.39 goals per game this year, the 10th most in the NHL. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I almost highlighted that Bruins second line here as my second favorite line stack, considering how well Boston is playing right now. Solid matchup on the road against the Florida Panthers. But I do like the matchup just a little bit more at home here tonight for the Vegas Golden Knights against the Ottawa Senators, who have struggled defensively this year and not gotten the best goaltending. They've allowed 3.56 goals per game, the 8th most in the NHL, and that's a team that's not afraid to take penalties either. They rank 8th in the NHL in minor penalties taken. So we got Eichel centering Stevenson and Stone here, another strong correlated line. 3 guys who play big minutes together 5-on-5, and all 3 play up on that number 1 power play. Now, folks, before we dive into some of my favorite individual plays here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. I got hockey content coming out for you guys all year long. Alright, now diving into some of these individual plays here, we're going to kick it off with the forwards. First guy I got there is Alex Ovechkin of the Washington Capitals. Ovi's been good this year, 17 points in 20 games, 10 of those points coming in 10 home games, 4 goals, 6 assists, and he's averaging around 3.5 shots on net per game. But we all know that Ovechkin is capable of having 5+ shots in a game, getting you that 3-point DraftKings bonus. Plays on the first line, plays on the number 1 power play, should log around 19+ minutes here tonight, and I just really like the matchup at home tonight for the Capitals against the Philadelphia Flyers, who have really started to slump here as of late. In their past 6 games, they're 0-4-2, where they're allowing 4.5 goals per game and have a penalty kill that's hit at just a 50% rate. Now, I did mention that second line for the Bruins earlier, and obviously Patrice Bergeron centers that first line, and why I did that is because I think he offers the best value in that top 6. DeBrusk is cheaper, but both Marchand and Pastrnak are more expensive, and those are really the 3 to target: Bergeron, Pasta, and Marchand. So I ultimately went with Bergeron here, but honestly, anyone in that top 6 I'm okay with. Bergeron, again, plays on the first line and plays up on that number 1 power play. He's second on the team in points this year, second on the team in goals, and third on the team in expected goals. So he's getting a lot of opportunities, and he's been burying on those opportunities. And a good matchup here against the Florida Panthers, who have kind of struggled defensively as of late themselves, allowing 4.20 goals per game, and they actually lead the league in minor penalties taken, so we should see the Bruins on the power play quite a bit here tonight. Next, I got Martin Necas there of the Carolina Hurricanes, who also have a good matchup at home here tonight against the Arizona Coyotes, who are once again one of the worst teams in the NHL. They've allowed 3.59 goals per game this season. That's the 6th most in the NHL, and Necas is still playing very well, really having a career year so far in the NHL. 23 points in 19 games, but he's been particularly good at home, where he's racked up 4 goals, 9 assists, 13 points in 7 games, damn near averaging 2 points per game, while playing up on that first line and the number 1 power play. I then got Dominik Kubalik there, who's played very well with his new team in the Detroit Red Wings to start the season, where he's racked up 21 points in 18 games, and he's played so well that he's actually made his way up to that first line and number 1 power play, playing with Dylan Larkin and Lucas Raymond. And they got a good matchup here tonight against the Nashville Predators. Now, hear me out. The Preds have played well here as of late, but for whatever reason, they've really struggled on the road this season, allowing 4.13 goals per game. That's the 4th most in the NHL, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 77% rate. Next, I got Logan Couture there of the San Jose Sharks, and quite honestly, I don't love the matchup on the road here tonight against the Seattle Kraken, but Logan Couture's got the hot hand on his stick right now, riding a 4-game goal streak. He's got 6 goals, 4 assists, 10 points in his past 10 games, where he's damn near averaging 14 DraftKings points per game, crushing value at this price here, $4,400. We're going to see him center that second line here tonight and play up on that number 1 power play. Now, just like Dominik Kubalik, Kirby Dach here has played very well with his new team in the Montreal Canadiens, and so well that he's made his way up to that first line in number 1 power play, playing with Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield. He's now got 16 points here in 19 games, 11 points in his past 10. And he's got a good matchup here tonight to expand on that against the Columbus Blue Jackets, who've allowed 4.33 goals per game this year, the most in the NHL. Now, moving over here to the defensemen, and just like the forwards, obviously there's a lot of top-tier defensemen to choose from on this slate, 30 different teams playing. We're just leaving 2 off of this slate, so there's really any route that we can go here. I'm not worried about getting unique with any one of my lineups. Ownership is going to be very, very spread out, but one defenseman I would absolutely be willing to pay up for is Cale Makar of the Colorado Avalanche, who just became the fastest defenseman in NHL history to reach 200 points, an absolutely ridiculous stat. He's got 20 points here in 17 games so far, and a great matchup at home tonight against the Vancouver Canucks, who've allowed 3.95 goals per game this year, the 3rd most in the NHL, with the league's 2nd worst penalty kill that's hit at just a 65.6% rate. Now, another defenseman I'd be willing to spend a little extra on is Charlie McAvoy of the Boston Bruins, and really it comes down to the matchup against the Florida Panthers, who again are not afraid to take penalties. McAvoy plays up on that number 1 power play, and although he's only played 6 games this year, he's already got 9 points, and 4 of those points have come on the power play. So I'll essentially be stacking them with some of those forwards like Bergeron, Marchand, Pasternak, or Jake DeBrusk, again, who all play on the number 1 power play. Next, I got Mike Matheson there of the Montreal Canadiens, and he's only played 2 games so far this year, actually just returned from injury, but he's made his presence felt on his new team already, logging around 22-23 plus minutes per night, playing on that number 1 power play. He has 3 shots on net in both games and has already found the back of the net, and again, just has a great matchup here tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets, who've allowed 4.33 goals per game, again, the most in the NHL. And then I got Philip Ornick there of the Detroit Red Wings, who has really found a spark in his game here as of late. In his past 7 games, he's racked up 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points, while hitting 19 plus DraftKings points in 3 of those games, including double-digit DraftKings points in 5 of 7. He's logging around 22 plus minutes per night, getting time on that number 2 power play, and playing on the penalty kill too. Now, in general, I do prefer to spend down at the defenseman position. Like I said, I'm not afraid to pay up for guys like Cale Makar, Charlie McAvoy, but I do find there's a little more value here for defensemen. You can see I got a handful listed as honorable mentions. Jake Sanderson there of the Ottawa Senators. You got Sherratt there of Detroit. Weegar there of the Calgary Flames. McNabb of Vegas. Jensen of Washington. Klingberg of Anaheim. And Tanev of the Flames too. And then I got a couple of goaltenders there for you, a higher priced and lower priced option. First is Alexander Georgiev of the Colorado Avalanche, who's 9-2-1 to start the season, with a goals allowed average of 2.40 and a save percentage of .929. He also has 8 goals saved above expected, which is the 7th best in the NHL. Now, if you're looking to save a little money here at the goaltender position, I think Connor Hellebuck is too cheap. I think he should be around $7,700-$7,800. They are playing on the road here tonight, the Winnipeg Jets against the Minnesota Wild, but the Wild really aren't a threat to score a lot of goals. Sure, they could obviously score 3-4 plus here tonight. I'm not saying they're not capable of doing that, but just statistically speaking, not a team that really scores a lot of goals. And I do foresee this game kind of being low scoring in general here tonight. So Hellebuck at 7,300, I thought that was a great value play. He really has been awesome for the Jets this year with an 8-4-1 record, a goals allowed average of 2.07, and a save percentage of .935 with 11.3 goals save above expected. That's the second best in the NHL. And as always, going to wrap up the spreadsheet here with 3 low-priced options or sub 4K forward plays. Again, I really like the value at the defenseman position compared to the forward position, so I likely won't be spending below 4K all that much. However, these are 3 guys here who I do think are offering some value. First is Tyler Bertuzzi of the Detroit Red Wings, currently playing on the second line and number 2 power play. He's actually only played 4 full games this year, where he has 1 goal and 1 assist, but this is usually a guy who floats in the 5K price range, so we're getting him at a really nice discount here tonight against the Nashville Predators. Next is JG Pageau there of the New York Islanders, playing on that third line in number 1 power play, and that's really where I'm targeting him on that number 1 power play, because they're playing the Edmonton Oilers here tonight, who have taken the 7th most penalties in the NHL this year and have the league's 4th worst penalty kill. And then Pavel Zacha, kind of talked about him earlier in that second line for the Boston Bruins. Zacha playing on the second line and number 2 power play. Really, this is just an opportunity play with Krejci and Pasternak. He does have 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points here in his past 4 games, so he's playing well, and at $2,800, he's damn near the bare minimum to pay for. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great day here, folks. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. Let's win some money on this 15-game slate here before we fill our faces with food. In the meantime, I'm out of here.